SportsGrid.
Bienvenidos to Golazo today. Coming to you from sunny Los Angeles, California, we've got a show packed with drama. The MLS Playoffs are on fire, LAFC crushing Colorado with a massive 5-0 win and setting the tone for the postseason. Over in Europe, Napoli's taken Serie A by storm, and Real Madrid and Barcelona brought all the fireworks in El Clásico. In Liga MX, the playoff race is down to the wire, with the top clubs battling out for their spots. And of course, we're diving into the Ballon d'Or ceremony where this year's winner stirred up plenty of drama. Trust us, there's a lot to unpack. And joining us today, a man who truly needs no introduction, the one and only Nik Z.
I don't need it, but you gave it to me anyway. I appreciate it.
You deserve it, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's talk MLS, guys. First up, Inter Miami with Lionel Messi, the Supporters' Shield winners, taking on Atlanta United. This was very intense from the get-go. Miami took control with Luis Suarez scoring just 2 minutes in. And that's how you set the tone.
Oh, that's definitely how you set the tone, Francisco, to say the least. Miami had a ridiculous 49 touches in Atlanta's box compared to Atlanta's just 11 in Miami's. So that right there says a lot. Brad Guzan was basically standing on his head to keep Atlanta out the entire game. And even though Saba Lobanije managed to equalize right before halftime, you could just feel Miami had more in the tank. They were good to go. The chemistry between Messi, Suarez, undeniable. As always, Miami in full control.
Absolutely. And let's know this was Lionel Messi's very first playoff game. Now we're looking ahead to game 2. Miami might drop a little deeper. There's so many options that they can do. They can do it in so many different ways, but Atlanta obviously with plenty of firepower. Now moving over to the West, the LA Galaxy making an absolute statement with a 5-0 thrashing of Colorado. I had more hopes with Chris Armas aside, but it wasn't even close, my friend.
Not at all, Francisco. Even without Cole Bassett and Georgia Mihailovic, this would have been a tough match for the Rapids, right? This wouldn't have been a walk in the park, but the missing of those two was definitely the nail in the coffin. Colorado barely had a sniff at goal, finishing with an expected goal of just above 0. The Galaxy, they looked like the complete opposite. They were looking like they were having a training session out there. They were hanging out. I saw Ricky Pig having an espresso on the side. No, I'm joking. But really, Peck, Jovic, everyone, they came out in full swing, and it really showed.
Let's go over to Orlando City handling business over Charlotte, a 2-0 victory for them. So Orlando's been in a roll since Martin Ojeda moved to the 10th position, right?
Oh, definitely. Since they made that tactical shift, Orlando's been playing with a lot more fluidity. Things are a lot more fluid, and it showed here. I mean, Charlotte just couldn't keep up. They were behind the whole game. Orlando's dribble success rate, 57. Charlotte, we're talking about 27%, so a big difference right there.
Charlotte will need to rethink things for game 2. They're going to be missing Pep Biel due to a red card, so they might sit even back more and play for the counter. Who knows? Will that be enough? Let's go to the black and gold. LAFC against the Vancouver Whitecaps, a game that last year we had the exactly same series, but the first game was 5-2 in favor of LAFC. It was not even close this time around. Seems that finally Vancouver got a grip and, they made it close.
Yeah, they did. They sure did. They came out swinging, pressing high, creating chances. They even hit the woodwork twice in the second half. There's another number for you, 2-time.
Thank you.
I keep count of these things. But LAFC's class, it shone through when it really mattered. Bogus capitalizing on Vancouver mistakes. They got that crucial penalty, and it's those small margins. Those are the things that really count and make that crucial difference in the playoffs.
Let's switch over to the Eastern Conference again with FC Cincinnati, Lucho Acosta and company edging out NYCFC with an important win. So Cincinnati was in control for this game.
Oh, big time. The expected goal battle, again, 3.9 to 0.4 to be exact.
Okay.
In favor. So
more numbers.
See a lot. New York City's defense setup, it just didn't work, in my opinion. They parked the bus, but they couldn't really get things moving. And then again, Cincy just had the better player makers, the better balance, and it really showed. New York really needs to bring some offensive power in game 2 if they want to get things going here. They can't bring the same kind of energy.
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, they have Lucho Acosta, the MVP, but a guy that they're obviously missing, or they're supposed to be missing, is Brandon Vasquez, who went to Liga MX with Monterrey. Well, it seems that Cincinnati has control over that game. So let's see what's also happening in the Pacific Northwest with Seattle and Houston going to penalties after a scoreless draw. Not the most exciting scoring, especially when we talk about some exciting players on both sides. Jordan Morris, Joao Paulo, how about Hector Herrera with Houston? But, we'll take it and a game that went all the way through with the utmost drama.
Let's just say they played a cautious game. How about that? We'll keep things diplomatic here, meets aside. And we kind of expected that. Houston kind of managed 7 shots, none on target. But in the end, it came down to a penalty shootout. And, Seattle, they took it. They've been on a great defensive run, conceding only once in their last 5. Game 2 is going to be all about who can break the deadlock first. So let's see if they spice things up in the next round.
Yeah, it's so different with the breeze in Seattle. Let's see how the weather is going to be in Houston. Always unpredictable for Game 2. I'm talking to a place, when you talk about weather, that was very miserable for the Mexico national team. They used to play those 2-0 games. We're, of course, talking about Columbus, who went after the New York Red Bulls, a game that ended up with a minimal difference. Red Bulls, did what they do best, disrupt and counter.
Yeah. Classic Red Bull performance. Francisco, they only had 28% possession, but completely nullified Columbus's attack. They set up to frustrate. They got an early goal in, which obviously is going to always help. And then they hunkered down. They played defense. And it's going to be interesting to see Columbus and how they can adjust for Game 2 because they were totally stifled in Game 1. So they got to do something different.
Yeah, I know they're going to need to find gaps. I mean, there's so many expectations for Columbus. You're talking about a team that has gone to the final of the MLS Cup, of Champions Cup, etc. They're a team that would be favorites to win it all. Let's see if they are in the same level as Inter Miami, the heavy favorites to win it all this year. Then let's go to a team that closed well the regular season, beating Vancouver, Real Salt Lake, and Minnesota, a team that had an excellent second half after head coach Eric Ramsey. They also went head-to-head all the way to penalties. It was Minnesota United pulling through the Loons, got that big first game.
What a battle, definitely. Both keepers definitely put on a show. McMath, St. Clair each made crucial saves to keep their teams alive. And after that intense penalty shootout, Minnesota came out on top, as we saw. Game 2 is likely going to be another tight contest. I hope it's a nail-biter like this one. Both teams are pretty cautious, but ready to pounce on any mistake. So at this point, it's like anything can happen. I love that feeling.
All right, so that wraps up our MLS playoff recap. Some heavy favorites took care of business, but a few teams will have a tough fight to stay alive in Game 2. Now, let's dive into Europe, starting with a game that left fans absolutely buzzing. Napoli versus AC Milan. The Napolitanos have been on fire this season, and they came out swinging against AC Milan with relentless pressure, beautiful ball movement. Napoli took control early. They got 2 quick goals, setting the tone. Milan, on the other hand, tried to answer back, but Napoli's defense was so strong. So, Nick, how do you see this affecting the Serie A race?
Good question. Well, Francisco, Napoli's form definitely catching attention. You can't deny that. But they're not just defending well. They're attacking, and they're attacking with purpose. And I'd say they're making a real case to be the Serie A favorites this year. I wouldn't have said that if you had asked me just 1 or 2 seasons back, but we're here, and this is how they're playing, and you got to love it.
Let's go to La Liga, one of the wildest El Clásicos we have seen in a while. Real Madrid hosting Barcelona. It was intense from the get-go. Madrid pushing with Vinicius, with Mbappé, threatened the Barca defense. But in the second half, Barcelona kicked it up a notch. And, Hansi Flick now making some changes, bringing Frenkie de Jong, and obviously pushing Pedri into more of an attacking role, turning the game around. And it turned out into a 4-0 victory for Barcelona. Let's talk about humiliation, my friend.
Yeah. It was an incredible call by Flick. You mentioned Flick there. Those halftime adjustments, they let Barca dominate, and Flick's daring approach there, taking risks in defense, but upping the offense as well, really paid off for them in the end, as we just saw. But it's no wonder folks are saying Flick's become one of Europe's most astute managers. We could see why. He's taking risks, and that's not easy to do in a high-stakes match.
Let's go to Italia. Back to Italia with Inter and Juventus. What a showdown. A game loaded with goals. Inter looks solid, taking a 4-2 lead. But how had Juventus clawing their way back to tie it up? Inzaghi, Inter's manager, was not too thrilled, obviously, after the final whistle. What's going on here, Nick?
He wasn't happy. Inter had Juve on the ropes, but they couldn't close out, and that's a frustrating feeling when you just want to hit the back of the neck and you can't. Defensive lapses, also missed chances. All of that is going to turn the game into a nail-biter for sure. But for Juve, I want to give credit specifically to young Kenan Yildiz. He's proving himself as a major up-and-coming talent, and it really showed.
That wraps up our European update. Coming up next, we got all the latest in Liga MX, including playoff pushes, standout players, and of course, who's in and who's out of the postseason race. The Liguilla coming around. Stay with us. This is Golazo Today.
it's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
Lincoln!
But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Tatum has fixed that hitch. He now shoots it at the top of his jump. His release is really pure. And right now he's shooting it at 49% from three. Now, I'm not saying he's going to shoot at 49% from three for the season. But if he's at 42, 43%, Lord have mercy, look out below. Jason Tatum, right now, my number 6 player in the NBA.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Are you okay with him moving to the head of the class of the Heisman with those two games? Because he wasn't even in the discussion before those two games.
This is a big opportunity for Dylan if he wants to continue to make his case for the Heisman Trophy, and I think he's shown that. You know, I mean, what is he, a sixth-tier player who's going to probably end up setting most of the passing marks because he's been around for so long? So why not also throw a Heisman Trophy in the mix?
Pharrell Coast to Coast. Only on SportsGrid.
Hola, mi gente. Welcome back to Golazo Today. And right now we're diving deep into Liga MX, which, as any fan knows, isn't just a league. It's practically a novela, a religion. And it has a weekly plot twist and obviously drama. And with only 3 jornadas left in the Apertura, we're talking make-or-break moments for so many teams. These squads are either clinging to the Liguilla dreams, scrambling to avoid the dreaded play-in, or unfortunately just packing it in for next season. Nick, how do you see this Liguilla race shaping up?
Right now, at this point, I mean, it's super tight. Cruz Azul, or Los Cementeros, are pretty much securing their place at the top. 9 league titles under their belt. It's showing. They got that experience. I'd say they're kind of in a league of their own at this point. Totally in control. Toluca, Tigres are almost locked in as well. So we're going to have to see how that goes. But then there's Monterrey and Tijuana, Xolos. Both teams just a point away from clinching their playoff spots. And then Pumas just needing a win to avoid that risky play-in spot.
The other one is Atlético San Luis. They're just sitting 7th in the table. They're looking to make a late move to stats, not direct spot for the Liguilla. By the way, in their last few games, they'll have Chivas de Guadalajara. So that's going to be very interesting. Talking about Chivas and obviously America, they are rivals. They each have 21 points. They're 8th and 9th. They're hanging on to those playing positions, but they'll be hustling for an upgrade. You know, both of these clubs are used to high stakes, obviously, when they play and the whole country is tuning in.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget about Atlas either, sitting in 10th with 20 points. They're holding on to that last play-in slot by a thread, holding on tooth and nail. Right behind them is León with 16 points. If León can pull off some wins, they might just edge their way in, but we'll have to see. They got Toluca, Mazatlán, and Monterrey to face up next, so obviously, that's going to be no small task for them. But historically, if we look back on paper, I mean, León's a team that battles hard right until the very end. Think back to that back-to-back title run in 2013 and 2014. So we have some history to look on at to make some projections. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, even going back a couple of years, I mean, they came back here to Los Angeles and beat LAFC in the CONCACAF Champions League. So then again, a team that's used to be fighting for the top spots. How about Puebla, Los Camoteros, with 14 points? They're barely hanging on. They're going to need a few wins and a couple miracles and some favorite results to squeeze through. They actually got a miraculous win against Chivas last week. So let's see what happens with Los Camoteros. And you talked about Atlas. If Atlas earns just 1 point in the final 3 match days, it could be over for Puebla.
But then there's Necaxa and Mazatlán at 13 points each. Technically, they've still got a chance. I don't know, am I being too optimistic here? But let's be real. They're going to need a milagro if they want anything to happen here. But both teams have been struggling to find form all season, and without a serious shakeup, their hopes for the Liga are pretty slim at this.
I'm going to be optimistic. Necaxa is my dad's team, and even though they recently fired their coach, Eduardo Fentanes, they lost 4 in a row. So, yeah, I'm optimistic. Papi, dedicating the show to you. Necaxa, I'm gonna say optimistic. They're going to make it.
Okay.
And then there's some teams that are already out. I mean, let's not even discuss the Pachuca, Santos, Juarez, the Querétaros of the world. I mean, their chances are done with America's recent win over Monterrey. So, for them, it's just a chance to bring in some young players, see what they got. And for Santos Laguna, for example, with dreadful attendance numbers recently, Pachuca, even when they play Chivas, they did not even fill the stadium. So I think, unfortunately, it's a bad situation, a tough spot in Liga MX for these clubs. Yeah, they might be in rebuild mode, but still, the fans are not showing up. That's a problem.
It's almost like it's like a transitionary period for them, especially for Pachuca, which you just mentioned. Now, looking back to last weekend's matches, there were some big moments, we should say. Cruz Azul came in strong with the win over Pumas, scoring early thanks to Angel Sepulveda, and then doubling up with Ignacio Rivero. So, we got that down. But when Cruz Azul's in a rhythm like this, it's like watching La Máquina Celeste in their glory days of the 70s. It's a name that stuck with them for a reason. It's not a fluke.
Let's talk about Chivas. Once again, coming off a tough loss to Puebla, a 1-0 defeat that snapped Puebla's 6-game losing streak with this result. So Emiliano Gomez coming through with his 3rd goal of the season. This actually puts some real pressure on Chivas. They've got Pumas up next, a team that they've managed to keep winless at Estadio Akron for 6 straight years.
And León, they didn't hold back either, totally demolishing, tearing apart Querétaro with a 4-0 scoreline. León is on a mission to get into that play-in spot, make some noise. Historically, they're a team known for fighting till the very end, so we'll have to see. Their fans obviously hoping for another playoff run. Who knows? With the resilience that we're seeing from them right now, I feel like they might just be able to pull it off. But hey, I mean, they're still a far cry away from doing that.
You talked about resilience. Let's talk about energy. Let's talk about the patience that Toluca's front office has had, because they spent a lot of money last year. Well, they're still spending it. And you know what? They're seeing results. They absolutely dominated Necaxa with a hat-trick from Jesus Canelo Angulo. Some amazing assists from Isaías Violante. Toluca is in great form right now. And this kind of attacking energy, it was what the fans expect at La Bombonera from Los Diablos Rojos. They're fast, they're intense, they're ruthless, and these traits are going to carry them deep into the playoffs.
And America, how about that last minute 2-1 win over Monterrey? I bet you're happy about that. Francisco Fidalgo came in clutch with a goal in the final seconds of the match there. This America squad is starting to show the grit, the determination of the dynasty days back in the 1980s. They've been showing up in high-stake moments all season, and that's a dangerous quality in any team, no less America.
So then again, there's going to be a lot of pressure, expectations, big expectations for a team that has also spent a lot of money trying to win a title. So, all right, look at some of the matchups coming up. You mentioned Chivas and Pumas, a team that everyone will have their eyes on. Chivas with that impressive 6-game home streak against Universidad. Both teams needing points to stay alive. This one's going to have high stakes. Pumas coming off a tough loss against Cruz Azul. They'll be looking to make a statement.
Yeah, León, Toluca, it's another must-watch match. We're going to keep our eyes on. Toluca's on a roll, but León is in full survival mode, as we just said, hanging on for dear life. They'll come out swinging because it's a win-or-go-home situation for them. At this point, it's shaping up to be a classic showdown.
America facing Mazatlan at El Puerto. And with Mazatlan's struggles, I think America's a heavy favorite, obviously. Plus, it's my team, and it's my show, or our show. So anyway, as we all know, Liga MX, we've seen this all over again, and how unpredictable these games can be. And that's why I think we love this league, because anyone can beat each other. It doesn't matter if you're at the bottom at number 18, you're number 1. You know, there's this parity that we always talk about.
Pure drama from start to finish. And with these last 3 match days, the intensity is off the charts. Every game is a final, you could say, and that's what makes the league one of the best to watch, the excitement.
So that's our Liga MX update. Each game now is straight up do or die, but hold on into your seats, because up next, we're diving into the glitz and glam of the Ballon d'Or, all the drama, the reaction, and the list of awards. And you know it wouldn't be Golazo today with our rapid-fire picks. So we're going to throw down all the predictions on this week's biggest matchup. So don't go anywhere. This is Golazo Today.
he will be 2-7 against top 5 opponents in his 6 full seasons with the Buckeyes.
Now you're going to take on the road, one of the best rush defenses in the country in Penn State. You're already having trouble rushing the ball. So what does that mean, Ben? That means Ohio State is going to have to rely on Will Howard to throw the ball on the road.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Bienvenidos de regreso. This is Golazo Today. I'm your host, Francisco X Rivera. It's time to talk about the biggest night in football, the Ballon d'Or Awards. We've got a list of winners who truly defined the year in the beautiful game. So, Nick, let's jump right into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Starting with the main prize, the Ballon d'Or, as Francisco just mentioned, it goes to Rodri from Manchester City. This guy was the anchor for both City and Spain. Not your typical flashy choice, but hey, he's proved that midfielders, they deserve the spotlight too. His influence on the game as well, undeniable. What do you think?
Drama,
huh? Yeah.
Controversial?
It's controversial because I said he's not the flashiest choice. When I think of a flashy midfielder, I think of Modric, who's also won it, but he's flashier. This guy just plays beautifully.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to that tradition of Spaniard midfielders, right? You talk about Iniesta, you talk about Xavi, but when we talk about Spain, obviously a lot of people in Spain were angry, were mad because Vini was not considered for that game. Vini did not even show up to the ceremony. So, I mean, what do you think?
They're calling it a snub, but that's up to the people to decide.
You can never please everybody. But you know what? Controversy aside, this one didn't have any controversy. On the women's side, the Ballon d'Or Feminin goes to, you guys already knew, Barcelona's Aitana Bonmatí. She was an absolute force this year, not only La Liga, but she also was, she was great in international competitions, a symbol of power and the growth of football. Felicidades, big congrats to Aitana Bonmatí.
Congratulations. And we can't forget the Copa Trophy awarded to the best young player, which went to someone who doesn't need a drum roll at all. We're talking about a kid who's just 17 years old, Lamine Yamal. He's already making waves, breaking records, a future superstar, no doubt. I could see why he got the Copa.
Bro, Lamine, you're living the dream, my friend.
Sure.
Now let's talk about another one that was interesting. El Dibu, Emiliano Martinez with Aston Villa, snagged the Yashin Trophy for the best goalkeeper. Obviously, we can't forget his heroics for Argentina in the World Cup, in the Copa America, the consistent saves with Aston Villa. That sealed it all for him. So Dibu is that wall that you want to face as a striker.
Oh, yeah. The Gerd Müller Trophy. We saw Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe recognized for their goal scoring feats. Kane for his Premier League legacy. I would say Mbappe more for those insane numbers that he put up for France. Two forwards who know how to find the back of the net. Case in point, Golazo's guaranteed, so easy choice for that.
Carlo Ancelotti wins Coach of the Year, so Los Blancos continue to set the standard in club football, and Ancelotti as well. What a mastermind. Going back to women's football, the Coach of the Year goes to Emma Hayes, taking the honor for Coach of the Year. So, once again, felicidades.
Beautiful year for the beautiful game. So congratulations to all the winners. You guys are an inspiration to football fans all over the world.
Alrighty, that wraps up our Ballon d'Or recap, but our show's not done yet. We're going to get a rapid fire picks in. So, Nick, let's go with Columbus Crew. I think they have a good shot. What do you think?
Yeah. Columbus Crew, I put money on them as well. I think they're going to regroup, especially at home. They're playing great, but especially at home. Columbus takes it.
Yeah, Real Salt Lake will be playing Minnesota United. What do you think about this?
I think Salt Lake is going to make some adjustments, especially with Brian Vera coming back. I see them taking this one to force a game 3. That's what I'm saying.
Now let's talk about Orlando. Looking strong in the last game, but Charlotte's going to be at home.
This is going to be a tough one, yeah, and for that reason. It's going to be close, but I'm going with Orlando to close out the series. I feel it in my gut.
So then again, let's go up to New York City FC and Cincinnati.
All right, so let's do the math. Cincy dominated last time. NYC needs a miracle here, so it's an easy one. Cincinnati all the way.
Seattle defense, they're looking good. Obviously, after that 0-0 draw, going to penalty kicks. What do you think about it?
Yes, but Houston could still make it tight. Still, I got to go with Seattle here. So, Seattle. Final answer.
Let's go up to Canada. You ready?
Let's do it.
Vancouver and LAFC.
Vancouver put up a fight last time, but LAFC just has too much firepower behind them right now. It's LA for me.
Atlanta is going to be at home. I still think the duo of Messi and Luis Suarez is a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah. Hard to bet against that firepower. So, easy one. Miami? Are you in?
Of course. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, and then Colorado and Galaxy.
After that 5-0 rout, I don't see Colorado coming back. Galaxy's going to close it out. They're going to sweep them.
Let's go to the Champions League. Real Madrid against AC Milan.
Milan has that quality behind them, but in Madrid, I don't know. I'm going to go with Real.
Okay, so Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh, Liverpool at home? Tough for any team. Are you kidding me? Liverpool takes this one. Easy.
PSG, Paris Saint-Germain. I'm actually rocking my jersey today. They're going to be at home against Atletico that has obviously that defensive grit.
Yeah. Let's see. A draw sounds like it's definitely kind of shaping up to come out that way. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe a draw because it's just,
We're set, man. Rapid fire picks. We got to check your percentage, but I think top of my head, you're doing well so far.
Good. We'll have to see.
Gracias as always, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Great to see you. Great to share screen with you. That wraps up a rapid fire picks, and we've covered everything from MLS playoffs to Champions League showdowns, Liga MX drama, etc., etc., etc. So stick with us next week as we keep bringing you the best of the beautiful game right here on Golazo Today. I'm your host, Francisco X Rivera. Until next time.
All right, welcome to week 9 of Beat the Odds. We're halfway through the season, so it's time for midterm grades. See which teams and which one of us is getting an F. Beat the Odds starts right now.
From our Las Vegas studios, this is Beat the Odds, sponsored by Superbook at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino, and powered by SportsGrid.
And here we go. Welcome inside our Las Vegas studio. I'm Dave Hall.
And I'm Mariah Janos. The midterm grades are in. As for the A's, Kansas City, Detroit, Green Bay, and the surprise team, Washington.
As for the F's, Carolina, Tennessee, and the biggest disappointment, Aaron Rodgers and his squad.
I was going to say Jack, but we could go with that too.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Trust me, we're getting there.
Oh, perfect.
Coming up, he's already mad. Coming up on today's show, we're going to hand out some more midterm grades, talk about the biggest disappointment so far, and as always, the boys will have their best bets.
Plus, we are getting Brandon Marshall's thoughts on the first half of the season. Who could win MVP? The guys from SportsGrid are back too.
Hey Vegas, we're excited to beat the odds with you guys once again. Coming up, Joe Lisi and I will take a look at two running backs with way different performances. An awesome one out of James Cook and a real letdown from Kenneth Walker in the same game. What does it mean moving forward? We'll let you know, so sit tight and we'll join you guys in a bit. It's back to the crew out in Vegas.
All right, so our bosses have given us midterm grades as well. Teddy, you're the star student as you get an A again.
Such a ridiculous
you get
scale.
I mean, now, Jack, you also get an A. However, your citizenship grade, it needs work, man.
F for fantastic. You have a harder grading scale than my 10th grade biology teacher, and I was actually dating his daughter. So that's
why.
That's what's the problem.
Wow.
So hard grading scale.
Now, Mariah also